Hello. I'm not sure if this is recording. I'm in a little village called Ketton in Rutland, which is the smallest county in England. And I'm going to take you on a little walk, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Vanishing English village. This is quite a picturesque little village, actually, but in some senses quite intact. It's a village of limestone. Limestone is actually quarried here, and the limestone from the village was used to build some of the Cambridge colleges, which are not so far away. Almost all the people in the village are still English. So superficially, it's a very pretty, very typically English place, which hasn't changed very much. Except that, of course, it has changed in that 100 years ago, most of the people here would have been farm labourers, workers in the quarries, farmers, craftsmen of various kinds. My mother lives in a house which was the village smithy, for example. Now, most of the people in the village are middle class and either working remotely or commuting. They're doctors, lawyers, accountants, software engineers, and so on. And I'm not criticizing them for coming here. Of course, this is a very pleasant place to live, and who wouldn't prefer to live in a stone cottage in Rutland rather than live in one of our increasingly horrible multicultural cities where you're not safe, and lots of people don't speak your language, and so on. Just crossing a river here, the River Cider. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit about the village and the literary imagination. I think it's a well-known fact that the environment has a big influence on writers and on the literary imagination. Good morning. And the English countryside has been a big feature, really, of English literature. Obviously with writers like Hardy, one of my favourite writers, although I think he quite literally lost the plot in his later novels. D.H. Lawrence is a very good writer too, in terms of noticing the nature. Even people like Austen rarely stops to really describe the countryside, and yet we somehow get a sense of it. I suppose more from the people, really, than from the actual natural setting she describes. But I think there's a real danger, as we have a deracinated society now, that there no longer is a real English society to talk about. So there certainly isn't an English society that's deeply rooted in the seasons, the cycles of natural life and so on. Just going past the car here. Lots of lovely little cottages here, stone cottages. I don't know if you can see them. It's so bright I can hardly see the screen. We'll come up to the church soon. There's a medieval church here, as there is in pretty much every English village. Not the most beautiful one, but still rather beautiful. So I suppose I'm being nostalgic, but I think we are in danger of losing the English countryside. In a sense, it still is largely English, unlike the towns, and I think it's still salvageable. I don't suppose we're going back to any kind of agrarian society. That's not likely, but we could at least try to maintain what we have left. And to be fair to the people that live here, a lot of them do quite consciously try to do that. People still go to church in the village, a lot more than I expected. Today we have Morris dancing in the village and a wassail with handbell ringing and banging of pots and pans, crossing the River Chater again now, and you'll see, I hope you can see a rather beautiful bridge just behind me. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. The bridge would be 17th or 18th century. Think of rather fine stone bridge. Yeah, I think you can see that. And we're just coming up to the church and the cottages around the church. So yeah, I love literature that's rooted in place. Most contemporary literature is not, of course, or if it is, it's very localized. You get people like Sandra Cisneros writing The House on Mango Street about the Latino community in, is it Texas, I think, or Monica Ali writing about the Bangladeshi community in Brick Lane, which is a part of Tower Hamlets in London. I wonder if you can see the church behind me. No, I don't think you can. That's a pity. I'm walking into the churchyard now. I hope I'll be able to show you a little bit of the church. You can probably see some tombstones there, I think. Those are early English windows there. Those would be 13th century. Then this part of the church, if you can see it, is probably 14th century, I think. That would be decorated. Yeah, I think decorated, probably 14th century. The steeple is Victorian and conforms very much to the Victorians' idea of what a steeple should look like. We have a beautiful Norman door here, Norman door and archway. So this, yeah, I think you can see that. This archway is 12th century. So it's about 850 years old. That house over there is, I think, the old vicarage. Let's see if we can go in the church if it's open and I'm not disturbing anyone. I love English churches. Better take my hat off. Yes. Here we are alone in the nave. Very bright light up there. I think this is, if you look at the arches, it's Gothic. I'm guessing 13th century, perhaps early 14th. Still got the Christmas tree up. Should have been taken down by now. And we're into the choir. I don't know if I've still got my sunglasses on. A little bit of stained glass there, Victorian stained glass, but not bad, sort of pre-Raphaelite style. Absolutely silent in here. Some lovely stone flags in the down there. I don't know if you can see. I love to think that the villagers have come here every Sunday for the last 850 years. And that's a wonderful tradition. Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit. I'd like to give you a recommendation. I like to give a book recommendation, and I'd particularly like to recommend a book which is deeply rooted in the English countryside. That's Under the Greenwood Tree, one of Hardy's first novels, and he was still a young man, much less pessimistic than he was later. It's about the Mellstock choir. There's a little love story in it. It's a very fun book. I don't know if it could qualify as dangerous writing exactly, though I suppose by current standards, because it's all about white people and they're all heterosexual, I think. It might qualify as dangerous writing, I suppose. I'm not sure how much time I've got left on the video. We might get cut off at some point. Just walking down a very narrow lane here. You can probably see that all of the cottages, and that not all of the houses are cottages. Some of the houses are quite fine houses that must have belonged to, country doctors or perhaps quarry managers. Look at that one, for example. Very fine, not huge, but a fine, probably early 19th century house, Regency house. And here you've got little cottages. These would have been farm workers' cottages, probably, I think. This is the England I love very much and would like to preserve, and it's the England that Conservatives should be trying to conserve. but many haven't. This was an old farm on my right, Red Miles Farm, no longer is. I think there are still stables over on my left. It's very much the England that most people would have lived in for most of our history. This is the sort of village park which did belong to the manor house, I think. It's a very fine day and beautiful day for a walk. Well, I shall bid you goodbye, I think. So once again, my fellow free spirits, dangerous writers, over men and over women, I hope to see you again soon, and hope you can get out into the country, have a good walk, and be in touch with nature and with the lives that your ancestors lived. Bye bye.